I took one charge last year to start the season, broke my thumb, out for 8 weeks. I'm like, I'm not taking a charge ever again.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sergio's Corner once again. We have my partner with me, Brevin from Crossheim. How you feeling, Brev?
Good, man. Good as you can after, a tough day of work.
Yeah. So I can see that you've been to multiple countries. I went in, I stalked your Instagram for a little bit. So tell me about that hair, man. How do you see? I'm over here. I don't really have none right here. How do you maintain all of that luscious locks that you got, man?
Hey, let me tell you, I run my life by the motto "Happy wife, happy life." And my wife told me when we left college, she said, "I want you to grow your hair out." I said, "All right, fine." Now, let me just tell you that first year and a half, while it was still growing, I mean, I was ashamed to be showing up in public. It was a tough
Oh
look.
man. So you had them split ends right there. Split
Man,
ends there.
I had split ends. I had a ponytail that was just on my forehead because I didn't want my hair in my face. I tried a headband. I did it all,
not,
and
not,
none
not,
of
the,
it
not
worked.
the candlestick. You had the candlestick up there. You had the
Absolutely.
candlestick.
And I had like 3 hairs in it too. Oh, it looks terrible. But
Oh man. So how's adjusting to Germany? Is it different? I heard that you played in multiple countries, and
yeah,
I heard that you showcase a lot of different foods and the different things that you do and the cultures you experience. So my question, and then knowing from your game against the second league team and how tough Germany is in general, I got two things for you. I want you to rank your leagues that you've played in from top to bottom, right, as far as competition wise, and
yeah.
also I just want to know what you think so far of the competition level in Germany.
Okay. I mean, Germany, I kind of expected it to be what it is because 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, I actually played against Rostock when they were Pro A, the year they won,
The
the year they
Seawolves.
won the championship. And then I also
Mm-hmm.
played against Braunschweig as well that season. Against
Okay.
Braunschweig, I went out with a MCL sprain in the
Oh,
preseason, but I came on strong. I had 9-4 in the first quarter. I was feeling real good. We ended up losing
okay.
by 60,
Okay.
but whatever. You know, but I mean,
Okay.
I was kind of ready. I kind of knew what I was getting in for, but I mean,
Mhm.
always once you're in it, it's a little different. You got to kind
Yeah.
of adjust to the game, and preseason's preseason. It's always a little dicey. Refs are getting used to it, teams getting used to it. So I think, going into the last game, we got to figure out who we are. And I think we are now. And I think
Mhm.
that's really what it comes down to is sometimes teams gel early, sometimes teams gel late. And, it's really about speeding up that process. And I think we have a good chance once we get that gel going. And I think we're close to it. So obviously you very disappointed in what happened, obviously with the last game, but
Yeah.
you gotta look forward. Now we got 34 games
You
of a
do.
regular season that we got to compete in, and every game matters. It's life or death in this league. So I gotta look
Yeah.
at it that way. And then to the second part, I mean, obviously the worst league I probably played in was probably it's dicey because you could say the when I played in Serbia in the domestic league, that could have been the
Yeah.
worst one.
Yeah.
But some of the talent I played against signed in for Partizan. Some of them are playing
Yeah.
internationally. Some of those
Those
young
young kids
guys.
that get those pull ups. Yeah.
So it's tough to say, but I mean, I also played against the ex Euroleaguer and Rashko Katic, who's 43 years old,
Mhm.
and man had the second most points in a game in the season. I don't,
But
like it's different, but I would probably say that was probably the worst league I played in. Then Denmark in the basket league in. They have one Champions League team in the Bakken Bears, but the overall talent level is probably a little lower. The top half is solid, but bottom half is
yeah.
not so good. And then obviously Belgium in that BNX league. I mean, they're doing a good job of trying to bring it to be like a notable league. But I still think there's a ways to go. Some of those, young teams that have a lot of young kids, I mean, the talent level just isn't there yet with it.
Yeah.
But they do a good
Well,
job of bringing in imports. So I think it'll grow.
one of my teammates, one of my past teammates, Bogey.
Yeah.
And everything that happened with him, how do you think that affects? Because I love that guy, and I know he's such a major part of what happens on the court as well as off the court. So, how do you think the loss of him is really affecting the team, and how do you think that you guys are going to find a way to replace that presence of him? Because I heard you're a funny guy. Now, I heard off the court you might definitely be able to, help with a couple of laughs, but like I just know he's such a hard place to feel because he's such a good guy, such a warrior on the court, and brings so much to the game.
Yeah. I mean, off the court, Bogey's still around. He's still giving us his jokes. He's still being that guy. And like obviously I like to think of myself as somebody who, like, when we're on the court, I'm serious, right? It's work.
Yeah.
It's not just we're playing a game. It's work. You got to take the right aspect into it. But as soon as the game's over, practice is over, and we got to keep it light. We got to keep. Otherwise, it's 9 months, 10 months over here. If
That's
you
a
sitting
long
here
time.
every day, upset, it's gonna be a long year. But I think the thing we miss the most is just his veteran presence. It's the old cliche, but he sees the game. It's what is it, 12 years he played in the league. He sees the game at such a different level that guys like me and guys like our guys who are in their first year over here, even guys who are in their second year in this league, you don't see the game in that same level. And not having that voice on the floor with you is always difficult because, sometimes, how it is when you're a vet, you can make up for mistakes by just being smart and old. And I think we really miss his ability to kind of take over a game just verbally on the floor and kind of be in a steadying presence.
Yeah, I truly agree with that. That knowledge that comes from playing, and he played at all levels, Munich at very high levels, so he does see it different. He knows the cheat codes to the game. In other
Yeah.
words.
I mean, I try to sit next
Um,
to him on the bench just so I can get like, I'll be listening to him like, Bogey, what'd you see here? Is this, what are you seeing? Like,
yeah,
because you want to be able to, obviously, I guess I call myself a young-ish player. You want to be able to
yeah,
continue to grow your game, right? I want to be able to see what he sees as a 30-year-old, 12-year vet. I want to be able to see the
sure.
game objectively. I mean, you can obviously listen to your coach, but also, coaches are coaches, right? They see the game differently than players. So there might be
Yeah,
something that Bogey sees that coach doesn't see. And then maybe if, we're playing well, we can go out and execute it. Or maybe while I'm on the floor, I can communicate what Bogey saw and try to work it around. And
yeah.
I think it's just the communication aspect, really. You're missing, you're just missing that presence, really.
So now, Crossheim is one of the smallest places in Germany, right?
Yeah,
You walk
that's
in the front
facts.
door, you go out the back. Have you seen the cows yet? Because I know that they use the stadium for like cattle. So have
The
you seen
cow
the cows
shows.
yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen them yet, but I do know our practice arena is right next to the horse barn. So sometimes
Yeah, it
you
is.
might get a little stench, but hey, it's nothing to me. I grew up in the middle of the country back home, so I was smelling cow manure every morning. It reminds me of home. It keeps me present.
Well, I'm glad that works for you because it didn't work. It wouldn't work for me. But I'm gonna let you have that
Hey,
when
I
I
bet for
you
some
walk.
guys it's a little tough when you wake up and you smell the manure in the morning, but for me that's a normal day.
I said I never woke up. I could understand waking up and hearing the roosters and all that stuff, but I waking up and be like, the smell of
That's
the
the
cow
smell of
manure.
clean right there is what that is.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I also found out that your brother is a coach in the NCAA.
Yep.
Correct. So
Yep.
do you ever call him and does he ever watch some of your games and give you advice, or do you just say, "Okay, I got my own thing over here. I'm good where I'm at," or does he just call you with the brotherly love, like, "Hey, guess what?
You
That
know,
game you suck." Like
it's
how does that
funny.
work?
So when I was starting out, my first year, like you couldn't get a stream. It was on YouTube, but like you couldn't watch it. It was so grainy.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
he'll support me when he can, but being a Division 1 coach is a time demanding thing. And then he's got 2 young kids, but we'll communicate. And sometimes it's more so just like hey, just keep your head up, when you have a down game. But when
Yeah.
we're home, we'll shoot it, right? We'll talk and we'll say, hey, like when you look at these situations, what are you looking at? But
Mhm.
more so when his previous job obviously didn't go as well, but when he was home, I'd use him as my trainer, right? I'd let him train me
Yeah.
because, you know, I think I'm smarter than him, natural younger brother behaviors.
Yeah.
But when we're in the gym, it's where you can be on an equal playing ground, right? You can play. He sees something differently that I see in my game. We can kind of communicate and grow from there. I mean, I've really only ever had one trainer in my life, and that was myself. So
Mm.
opening up and allowing my brother to kind of, teach me a little more out after I become a pro has kind of been fun. But, he's 7 hours away now, so we don't get to do it as much. But it's more so we'll do kind of some, like, what do you want to call it, like personal player development, than like look at a
Yeah.
game and say, hey, you should have been over here and slid in, took this charge, because he knows charges ain't really my forte. But
Oh, facts.
I took one charge last year to start the season, broke my thumb,
Woo.
out for 8 weeks. I'm like, I'm not taking a charge ever
Boy,
again.
at that point, charges was off your resume. I
Hey,
still
I
put the
will
arms
I
up
will
straight,
jump
but
wall or try to block it, whatever you want.
I would do whatever else. But charges just ain't part of the game. Okay, so also, who's the toughest player that you think like that you've played against in your career so far?
I mean, probably Malik Monk. So
Okay.
when I was in high school, I was invited to the NBA Top 100 camp out in Virginia. I'm with the top 100 players in the nation. I'm with, Donovan Mitchell, Malik Monk, like all these guys who are NBA lottery picks, NBA players,
Yeah.
guys who were All Americans in college. He hit me with a crossover so fast
I
that
was waiting for it.
I was still in place on the 3-point line when he was taking off at the rim. And I was bewildered. I was like, how did he get there? I thought I was in
You were
position.
baffled.
I
You were
was in
baffled,
position.
Kev.
Yeah, and he hit me. I think it was a right to left, and he was at the rim, and I was looking around. I'm like, Coach, I didn't see him. I don't know what you want me to do.
Hey, oh man, it be like that sometimes. I was playing against the Anderson twins that went to Kentucky, right?
Yeah, yep.
So he went down. He drove hard, right? I stopped him. I done eased up. I'm like, cool. He turned around, faced me up, like with a behind the back cross, and I was frozen. And the Grizzlies coach, he was like, Sergio, why didn't you move? I said, because if I would have moved, I promise you, we would have been at the hospital. Something was going. I was like, that wouldn't have been. Something was going somewhere. I said,
I know
let's just
I
take
know the
that
feeling
frozen.
well.
Oh, that is so funny. So plus I heard you got German heritage. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean my family is like German on both sides, through heritage and all that. But like I think technically I'm 3 generations out. Like I think it's my great grandfather, but like my
Yeah.
grandpa still has the deed in full German to like his farm. So
That's
like
so
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure my grandma actually speaks German, like in the
Mm,
past. So I think
yeah.
it's still there. We still have like family reunions. We still have all the German foods. So it's not really as much of a shock eating over here because I'm like, hey, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It just tastes
Yeah,
better in
you could
America because we got more seasoning. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say.
goulash, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm half German too, and my Oma passed last season, but that's a different subject. But yeah, all that German food, all that stuff, man. For me coming over, it was such an adjustment because I wasn't used to it because I'm so Americanized. But
yeah.
it seemed like you pretty much got a good back into it. You had tasted it before, and you seem like you're adjusting well
I
to it.
I don't really worry about it. I mean, food is food, right? You're gonna find good food anywhere. I mean, my Instagram is a testament because I'll find whatever good food I can find and I'm gonna post it. You know. So I mean, obviously it's early in the season, not a lot of breaks yet, so I haven't really got to expand and see what's available here. But I'm just I love to eat. Unfortunately, that's also why I used to be 100 kilos, in college. So I mean, it's tough.
Hey, bro, I can't say nothing. I'm packing them on. But I was gonna ask you this: if you got any advice for guys that are trying to have, like, I've had an extended career and I'm still playing currently. I'm just, waiting for a right team
Yeah.
in the right situation. But for you, even going 4 years in and playing in the countries that you've played in, what advice do you have for young Americans that are trying to do what we do? Because we all know people at home who want to play or ask us
Yeah.
the secret to playing or this. So what advice can we give the people that, might help give them an edge on doing this to help continue doing this? Maybe taking care of your body or anything along the lines or the fight to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is you need to treat basketball as work. You can't just look at it and say that I'm gonna go hoop and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do it again. No, like you need those moments when you're out of practice. You need to think about what you can do to better yourself. I'm not saying you need to, spend 8 hours in the cold tub or do all these. Like you need to find what ritual makes you feel best to give you as much longevity as possible. For me, it's 2 hours ish in a Normatec or compression
Mm,
boots, and then if I'm having some lingering issues, I have a stim unit. Use a
yeah,
Theragun, right? You need to find what your body responds to best.
yeah,
But also, I think it's really about being a professional. Obviously some leagues it's not as professional, they'll say, as others, but that doesn't mean you can't act professional. Show up
mm,
early, show engagement, be engaged with your fans, your coaches, your ownership, your staff. Like you need to treat everybody with that kind of respect because
mm,
you can't walk around back home, get a job, and act foolish. It's not going to work. You're going to be fired,
mm.
right? We get a lot
I
of
think, I think,
leeway as
yeah,
athletes.
for sure. I think a lot of people don't understand it. The aspect to being a successful basketball player with an extended career is they're not just buying your basketball talent,
Yep.
they're buying your personality. And if you have a terrible personality or a cocky personality or something along the lines of that, you won't last very long. So I'm about to close it out because I know I've taken up too much of your time. We
That's
do
no
this segment
problem.
I call Wow. wow is words of wisdom. You already gave a few out, but I always end mine with a quote. So I'm going to start mine first. You can follow behind if you have something, okay?
Okay.
My words of wisdom for today are, every day that you wake up is a new beginning. It's never over until you give up. So always try your best, stay woke, and always give everything you have to what you love.
That's
Those are
pretty
my
much
words.
that's pretty much exactly what mine is. I like to use, if you ever seen Ted Lasso, every day's a gift.
Uh-huh.
That's why they call it the
Yeah.
present. Because when you wake
Mm-hmm.
up in the morning, you need to remember that some people don't get that opportunity to wake up in the morning and have a day. So you need to invest what you have and give your best in everything you do. It could be a husband, be a brother, be a sister, be a teammate. Give everything you have to that, because you don't want to look back at your life, your day, whatever it is, and say that I didn't give my best to the people around me who deserve my best.
Yes. I love it. Thank you for your time, Brev. Appreciate you, man. Hope to see you out there soon. Hope I can get to go against you and leave you hanging a little bit with the crossover.
You'd be
Have a good one
surprised. I
and
got
good
some
luck in the
shiftiness
next
to my
game.
game.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. Have a
Awesome.
great
Thank
time
you.
and good luck in the
Thanks for
next game,
having me.
brother. All right.
Thank you.